Baahubali. For those who haven't seen this movie, it follows a man as he grows up, always wanted to climb up this waterfall because his mother's dying wish was that he would survive. And as she died, she pointed up at the top of that mountain, so he has this connection. Not even realizing the person who raised him wasn't even his mother, but for some reason he's drawn to the mountain and wanted to climb up this mountain. He climbs up the mountain and goes on this venture to save this princess who's in captivity, and now realizing that was actually his real mother. And you see him go on this adventure and figure out his true heritage and all. This movie is just like RRR. It's by the same director. It's really, really stunning. It's very beautiful. Again, as an American, some stuff I don't get as much, but there's definitely stuff in this that's way better. It's 10 times more enjoyable to watch than something like Captain Marvel or The Eternals, or like movies like that, where it's just a cash grab just for pushing agendas and all that stuff. This movie is for having a lot of fun. This movie is so enjoyable. They came out to see the second part to it. I'm gonna watch that, and I'm gonna give out a review for that part next week. I was first thinking of making this video a spoiler video so that I could draw people in who watches this video really want to come back and see the second video, for the reason that they can hear the conclusion to what happens in this new movie, because it does end on a cliffhanger. But I'm choosing not to, because I want you guys to just check out this movie for yourselves. You guys can find it on Netflix. That's where I found it. It's very enjoyable. This is not something I brought up with but it's the same problem that you can feel that while I might push against Hollywood and how much I hate Hollywood and stuff like that, I would have to admit that Hollywood has something has something over Tollywood. And yes, I'm making sure that you say Tollywood. Thank you guys for all those comments that made sure to correct me and say, yeah, this is actually a Tollywood film, because I'm very happy that people are, choosing to say, hey, don't give the credit to the wrong people. This is a Tollywood film. Thank you guys for that. So yes, in this the problem is, while I might hate Hollywood somewhat, I feel like it has something over Tollywood that I don't know if it's probably older than Tollywood too, but it's also that the fact of the matter is they have more experience. And you kind of see that. I want people who are working in Bollywood, Tollywood, people in places like that to watch these videos, because the fact of the matter is I'm probably going to be able to have more impact and more help on those people than on people in Hollywood, for the reason that Hollywood are set in their ways, and sometimes it's not good ways, but they're set in their ways, and they're losing their ability to make films that are just creative. The thing that Hollywood has over this is, because of its experience, there's a feeling of more structure. The Tollywood films and the Bollywood films, films like that, have the problem that they're still in their beginning stages, and because of that, especially this movie, right? For example, this movie, the last hour of this movie or so is literally just a flashback. And it's a good flashback. This is an incredible, stunning movie and this flashback is awesome. But you wouldn't see that in a Hollywood film, because Hollywood has learned and moved on from that mistake of making, because it just kind of breaks up the act. I'm not going to go into whole, explaining why that breaks up the act on this movie, this video, because this is just a review video. But the point is that it kind of breaks up the act a little bit. It's you'll follow this one thing, and it's kind of, yes, somewhat I don't understand the culture, and somewhat that it kind of, the way they have structured this movie, less so with all, but some with all, is it kind of bounces from one place to the next. Not that Hollywood films don't sometimes do that. A lot of the screenwriters and directors and all were, trained on how to make films more with Hollywood films, and because of that, they understand some of these mistakes that these Bollywood and all Tollywood and all those type of, all those film industries are making because they haven't learned this yet. So don't really go on a rant about that too long, but basically the point is it is a issue that I saw in both RRR and in this movie haven't fully catched up where Hollywood has on some of this movie making. Anyways, so off of that whole rant about that, as things that that Hollywood can learn from this movie is one thing is action. I think I've mentioned this before in some of my videos, but I'll mention it again. I'm not the biggest fan of just action. I like action in movies, but I feel like Hollywood has become too bland with their action. A bunch of explosions and CGI armies and all that type of stuff. Not saying that this movie doesn't have a bunch of CGI armies. I wouldn't. I'm not gonna like put my money on this, but I'm pretty sure some of that army was CGI in Baahubali. But by the way, if I'm mispronouncing that name, just mention in the comments how it's supposed to be pronounced. That would be awesome. In this movie, the action is amazing. Just like with RRR, this action is so much fun to watch, so enjoyable. And I was watching this movie and I was just like, problem is not that I don't like action, is that I don't like the bland action that Hollywood has become. Even when action looks somewhat enjoyable, it's just like, I will eventually later on, because we're still in the first, with our educational content, we're still in the first key of great films, the intro, and the talking about the action and all comes way further down the line in like key 4 or something, when we're talking about, the action and how to properly do action. And I will, after watching this video, I'm like, maybe I'll use this as one of the examples on how to make great action, because out of everything you can say in this movie has incredible action. The action is so enjoyable, and all this the same way. But while all is one of the things that's really fun about the action is that it's outlandish with stuff like throwing motorcycles at each other and throwing leopards at each other, and a shot where the person's coming out of like a cage with a bunch of like tigers and all that stuff with him. It looks really cool. But in this movie, while the action is so outlandishly awesome, it's more down to earth in the way that there's no wild animals, just besides elephants. There's no wild animals. It's just people and horses, and they're just sword fighting and spears and catapults and stuff like that. Very enjoyable movie. Oh, another thing about the action is that as someone who is a writer and eventually going to, I think this might be the first time I'm going to mention it, guys. So, big announcement, but I plan on writing some books. And war strategy is a big thing in my books and all. And a couple of them, like one of the main characters in a series of mine is a general in an army and all. So there's a lot of talk about the strategy behind war and all in those books. And so seeing this movie, it brought up some like, hey, those are some of the ideas I already had planned, and some ideas I didn't think of before and stuff like that. But the war strategies in this movie is so creative and so awesome. Like the whole scene where they use the tents and they like they throw them over the army, and then they light them on fire and burn up the enemy. It's incredible. It's a genius level. Some of the other strategies they had are like just awesome. That's gonna be a whole video later on talking about the strategies in war when it comes to movies, and what makes some of them work and some does, what some work and some don't. Very awesome. If you want to see that book series and all, and just see some of the books I write, the bigger this channel grows, the quicker I can release some of those books, because then I can again, like, if this channel goes big enough that I can start making a living off this channel enough, that I can quit my 9-to-5 job and just do this YouTube channel, then I might be able to have more time to get to writing those books and get a book released. I plan on writing a book talking about this, on the keys of making films, and I'm planning to try to see if I can get that out before I've finished all the keys, so that so that people who just want to hear all of them right away and don't want to just have to wait, can read that book, buy the book and just read it, and then they come and listen to what I have to say as I talk about it and bring movies as an example into it. Anyways, I'm not to go on a whole rant about some of my future plans. The whole point is, the war strategies in this movie is awesome. The action in this movie is awesome. It mainly just comes down to these Tollywood films still need to mature a little bit more and become more to the level of Hollywood with the screenwriting. It kind of jumps from one place to the other place. It just jumps from place to place a little bit more than Hollywood does. I had one comment who mentioned that how awesome it would be if these Tollywood films would have the same budget as Hollywood films, like the Marvel films. And I'm like, yeah, I would give it all in LA to see films like that, because the fact of the matter is, these people have more creativity. These people want to make these films because they find it fun. And this is what I'm talking about. When I say that Hollywood has lost its way, is because it's not that making movies is always, it's a business, it's a job. You have to think about what will sell money. Eventually, after I'm done with all the keys, I will have almost like a separate key after that, talking about how to market and how to make your film presentable to people. Because the fact of the matter is, making money off your film is a big thing. Because, wow, we do need people working in restaurants. If people are wasting their time working in a restaurant as a waiter or something, when they can be doing something they love and making money off of it, that's way better. Same way here, right? Waiting restaurants is not something I would want to do. I would want to be able to educate people on filmmaking. Maybe get into some screenwriting and filmmaking myself. That's what I would want to do. And I want other people to be able to do that, but you have to make money to be able to do that. Because you have to make money, because we're living in a world where money, like, for people who say money means nothing, money does mean something. It means you're able to live. Without money, you're not able to live. So, that's why. That's why I have to say, that's why money is an important thing when it comes to filmmaking. But the point is that Hollywood has started to only think about money. One will draw people in. One will get people to buy our new products. And they're thinking, hey, what is the point of making these movies? Oh, yeah, it's to make entertainment for people. It's called the entertainment industry, not the make money industry. So you should always put entertaining your audience before making the money. Because the fact of the matter is, it's actually a little thing. If you make an entertaining movie, a lot of times you're going to make more money off of that. Because people are going to want to go back and watch it. If you make a movie that's just made to make money, you can draw people into those seats in the movie theaters. How many people are going to buy that on digital? How many people are going to go out and watch that again in theaters? But if you make a movie that is really enjoyable, maybe only some of those people come back, or maybe only some of those people watch in theaters, right? But then most of those people come back again because they want to watch in theaters again. And they tell all their friends, this movie's awesome, come and see it. And those people bring it. And then, just like I've talked about before with the invite 5 friends, just in the same way, the more people like the content, the more you will want to share it with your friends. The same with the movies. The more people you get to enjoy the movies, the more people will actually invite their friends to see this movie too, and say, hey, you have to see this movie. And so overall, I would say that Baahubali is a movie that I would invite my friends, and I would invite all of you guys to go check out. It's on Netflix. I might be on some other streaming services. I will leave a link to the description if I find any other services that has it on there. On Netflix, I know it has the English translation and multiple other language translations on it, so that's worth checking out. If you have Netflix, check out Baahubali, and then check out the sequel. Come back next week to see. Actually, please subscribe so that next week you can see that video when that comes out about the second part. This first one is called Baahubali, the beginning. The second one is Baahubali 2, the conclusion. This movie ends on a cliffhanger, and I cannot wait to see the second one because the first one was epic. The story was good, and I loved it. So guys, I just wanted to quickly mention, and the video I put out for last week, at the time I recorded this video, it's in about 1.7 thousand views. Well, basically, when I was recording this video, it's the exact number it was sitting at was 1,678 views, basically. So it's basically around 1,700 views, which is awesome because before that, the biggest video I had this one video that was sitting at around 566 views. And I was like, this is really incredible. I was talking about before how excited I was about that video was that big. But then this video, like, in the first day got 1,000 views, and it's slowly been going up since then. And I'm so, like, it sounded like it has right now, while this might not sound to a big YouTube channel like a lot of people, to me, this is incredible. I got like 45 likes on this video, and I got like close to 30 comments on this video, and on that video, and they were all positive. Some of them were correcting me on stuff. I had this one comment that was like incredible, and I don't know, later on in my YouTubing career, I'm still learning stuff about YouTube, so I don't know what comes into when mentioning people's names about comments, so I'm not going to mention anyone's names. But I had this awesome comment of this person who just said, hey, here's all the film industries in India, and they named off all of them, like Tollywood, Bollywood. You mean all of them? I haven't saved that list, but I'm planning on saving that list to a separate document because that is one of the most handy things too. This film that I just reviewed is because I had like five or so comments saying check out this film, and then check out another one of the films by this director, and that's what I'm planning to do. This week I'm talking about this part of the film, this first film. Then I'm going to talk about the next part of Baahubali, the second film. And then the week after that, I'm going to be talking about the other film by this same director. And I'm just going to go through, I know someone else mentioned a couple other movies about friendship, I believe Tollywood too, that I'm going to check out too. And so I have next couple weeks all planned out because these people all said, hey, check out this film. And clearly people want to see me check out these films. So I'll be like, I was first thinking this week checking out some like American film, but then I chose actually no, clearly people want to see me check out these films, so I'm going to check out these films, and they're more enjoyable probably overall than these Hollywood films. And yeah, you guys are right, these films are way better than Hollywood. Maybe not in the writing, but in the entertainment, it's way better. Sorry if my voice is starting to die off. I'm getting over a cold right now, and so that's why, actually, you guys probably have noticed, I did not put on last week's educational video because I was planning on filming that on Friday night. I But when I got back home, I was like dead as a rock. I was so tired, and I was just coming down with the cold. And then all of Saturday, I was sick in bed, so I couldn't film it on that day and like edit it and release it. So I'm gonna have to make that up this week. Yeah, I'll probably try to put it out tonight along with this one, but you might have to wait until tomorrow to see that. But I'll try to make up that video. That video is going to be on Gladiator and how we can how to set up your villain using that as an example. But I'll still be putting out this week's educational video too, because I don't want to get behind. I'm sorry that I missed on that one. I probably, if I had known that I was going to miss a video, I probably would have skipped the recap for that week and done that one instead, because the fact of the matter is, the recaps, while I enjoy them, while it sounds like people will enjoy them, honestly, the recaps are just recapping a video that I already made. Wow, those are the reason why I started this channel is to educate people. So my educational content is the most important content on this channel. So anyways, guys, thank you guys for your comments last week's video. It was very helpful. It really helped me. Thank you guys I made some really big mistakes, especially when it came to calling it a Bollywood film instead of a Tollywood film. I realized after I had recorded and edited that video and released it, before I even got any comments, I'm like, wait a second, is this a Bollywood film? But I looked up, like, actually it is a Tollywood film, sorry for that. But thank you guys for not, like, disliking the video and, like, ratioing it by a long shot by saying, hey, this video is terrible because you dare said that it was a Bollywood film. How could you? You guys chose to say, hey, it's actually a Tollywood film. In a very kind and generous way, and I really appreciate that, because the fact of the matter is, negativity, while it can spark me to like, oh, sorry, I made that mistake, but honestly, then it just makes me feel bad, and it feels like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I made that mistake. But now I just feel like, oh, thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for being so kind as to mention that, and now I feel really happy that you guys mentioned that, and instead of making me feel like really like overwhelmed with all this hate, I'm feeling like a lot of like encouragement with people like, hey, here's a correction. Thank you guys. Like, thank you guys. That's amazing. Like, hate only goes so far, but respect goes a lot further. So thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for mentioning all those movies you guys mentioned. I don't know how to like thank you guys enough, because that video it's going viral for my channel. I gained like almost like 10 other subscribers. We'll see if we gain how much subscribers we gain from this video. If you guys like this video, again, as I mentioned before, share with your friends, just like with the movies you guys enjoy, share them with your friends, because if a movie is good, if a video is good, you want people to find those videos. You want people to actually be able to see those videos, because that's what friends do. They want their friends to also have enjoyment. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe so that we can, again, the more subscribers we get, the, more videos I can probably put out. And again, I can start trying to put more effort into writing those books so that you guys can be able to read those books when they come out and all. This has been the Movie Night Reviewer, Peter Wary, signing off.